Monday, October 13th, 2008. I'm back. Okay, so I just recorded this 30-second explanation of why I've been gone for so long. It was pretty funny, but no one cares. And time is limited. Let's move on. Okay, so what is Anthony going to vlog about today? Well, I haven't vlogged in a few days, and I've got some things on my mind. Statistically speaking, it is illogical to assume that you are real. WTF, OMG, LOLZ. No, check it out. Imagine 50 years from now that we have the technology to run massive computer simulations to just experiment with alternate possibilities. The obvious ones everyone always throws out: Napoleon wins Waterloo. The American colonies are still the American colonies. Suppose Julius Caesar wasn't assassinated. Suppose that Jesus Christ was never written about. That sort of thing. Now, if we were to run one of these simulations, who's to say we wouldn't run a bunch? Of course we would, because we could. It would be fun, and so we would. Which means there would be billions and billions and billions, trillions, a whole Googleplex of people who aren't even real. Now, who's to say that the people inside the simulations won't eventually develop technology of their own to run similar simulations? Okay, now I'm going to switch it up just a little bit. I got to talk about two other topics and then tie the three together to make this whole thing make sense. Alright, so when you're playing a video game, you're having a blast. You're running down the streets of Vice City. You're swinging a baseball bat at some prostitute's head, taking her money, stealing a car, driving down the street. But all you see is the street you're on. You don't see the street next over and next over. You don't see the island across the bridge. You only see what's immediately in front of you. That's all that the computer has to render. Because rendering the entire island, or both islands at once, would be a great drain on memory, and it would be impractical and certainly unnecessary. That is to say, in a video game, if it's not on the screen, it doesn't exist right now. That's a given. That makes sense. We all believe that. Okay, quantum physics, the double slit experiment. When we shoot particles one at a time through a single slit, they line up on the other side as one would expect it, in line with the slit. When we shoot them through in a wave through the same slit, they line up again as expected with what's called an interference pattern. And it's basically several lines with spaces in between. The lines on the other side basically look like when the single slit was there, except it's several of them. It's called interference patterns, when the tops of the wave initially goes through the slit and around the sides as well. Then the tops of the waves, which have been split into three, eventually collide with each other, and then the tops of those waves collide with each other to where you get the tops of several waves hitting the wall on the other side, causing a line, a space, a line, a space. It's called interference, I believe. Okay, you with me? When you shoot particles one at a time, you get a line. When you shoot them in a wave, you get an interference pattern. So what happens when you have two slits, double slits? You shoot them through one at a time, you get a wave. No line, a wave. You'd expect to get two lines, but you get a wave. There's no way the particles can interfere with one another, but you get a wave. That in itself is pretty weird, but it gets weirder. Scientists decided to observe the particles as they traveled through the slits to see what was going on. And in every instance when they were observed going through the double slits, and only when they were observed, it switched from the wave to two lines. It only does that when we observe it, and when we don't, it switches back to a wave. Okay, so let's tie all three together. Statistically speaking, it's very unlikely that you are real. 2, we know that our very simple simulations in computers do not render everything that is on the screen, only what is being observed. 3, when we get down to quantum physics, the tiny, most minuscule things that we can find, they act differently when we observe them than when we don't. Sounds to me like we might be living in a simulation. Are we living in a simulation? I don't know. It's impossible to say, because statistically speaking, even the people who are real should believe that they are not real. That's just an unfortunate side effect of the statistics. Only one of us could be real, and it's very unlikely that it's us. Okay, well, enough of that. Now that I've either confused you, blown your mind, or made you very, very angry, or some combination of the three, or perhaps something different, I think we're going to stop and move on to addressing Cameron's vlog. I haven't been on YouTube in over a week. So let's go now and see what Cam's had to say, and perhaps we'll respond to it. Won't we, Mel? Mel agrees. Okay, just went to the YouTube page. Turns out Cameron hasn't vlogged either, so we're both very, very horrible at this, but that's cool because we're both very, very busy men about town, living a life of leisure. We don't necessarily always have time to vlog. Okay, fair warning, this video might lag because I just watched Cam's video, and in it he said he couldn't use the challenge graphic, and I think that's a travesty. So what I've done is email it to him, but the file is like 6 megs, and so it might cause some lag, or what we call in the industry here, latency. Okay, Cam, a Halloween costume, it's very clear to me what you need to be. Go buy a flannel shirt, some tweed pants, a pipe, keep growing the beard out, and voila, put a pillow in your shirt, you're Ernest Hemingway. Easy. No one will know who you are, don't do that. Let me think about it. Okay, so this was a pretty long one for me, so I'm going to wrap it up now, whether I'm real or not. Good night, good luck.